This podcast is brought to you in part by PNP Games, your online source for everything video games. Visit their website at pnpgames.com or one of their 3 retail locations in Winnipeg, Manitoba. All right, everybody, and welcome to the Touch of Gaming podcast. This is episode number 162. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison. And joining me and failing to make me laugh this time, Jared Schultz. Jared, how the heck are you?
I'm doing great today, Lloyd.
That is good. I'm happy.
How the heck are you?
I'm cold and upset at all the snow and tired of winter, and I kind of want to move out of this province. But I'm okay. I got lots of games.
Wait, you want to move out of Winnipeg or Manitoba?
Manitoba is the province. Winnipeg's the city. Yeah, it's pretty been terrible, but I don't want to talk about snow. So let's get into the show. Anything new with you, Jared? It's been a while since we last talked. It's been a couple weeks.
It's my anniversary today.
Wow, you are the best husband ever to be podcasting on your anniversary.
Yeah, she didn't want to talk to me. It's a bad sign. No, I was super nerdy and got married on 3/6/9, so today is my 5th anniversary.
That's a thing.
That's a thing. You asked what was new.
That is new. I'm sorry.
I've been married for 5 years today.
Being a joke. That's really good. Congratulations for being married for 5 years.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Anyway, no, we went out to dinner and we're planning on celebrating actually doing stuff this weekend. I just couldn't take days off since baby and all that. So
yeah,
it happens.
Yep. Well, cool. Well, happy anniversary. It is.
Yes.
It is nice. I was married 5 years ago.
You're old.
I'm old. I'm much older than you, and I've only been married for 5 years longer than you. So you got married too young there, Jared, is what I'm trying to say.
All right, well, to each his own.
All right, let's get into the show. Jared, what the heck have you been playing?
I've been playing some of them video games. I've been playing a game called Royal Revolt 2. So Royal Revolt was a game that I really, really loved on the App Store. And Royal Revolt 2 came out, and it kind of snuck out. It didn't come out in the normal Thursday releases, and I was all sorts of, excited that here it was, and it was going to be awesome. And it's what you would get if you took the awesome Royal Revolt game and mashed it up with Clash of Clans.
Oh.
Because there's a whole bunch of freemium aspects. You have to build your defenses. When you go attack, you attack other people's bases, like you do Clash of Clans. But it's the same thing. I mean, you're controlling a little prince guy, and apparently everyone has a prince guy, so there's lots of copies of this prince guy. But it's kind of reverse tower defense. You have a little meter that builds over time, and you can use that meter to summon or build knights and paladins and archers that you then take into battle, and they automatically advance towards the enemy gate. But there's obviously bad things on the way. There'll be turrets and traps and stuff, and they'll kill them all along the way, and you're accompanying them, and it's a lot of fun. But it's so freemium heavy, it's not even funny, because you earn money by having a tavern, and you have to touch the tavern because it fills up with money, and for some reason a tavern can't hold any more money. That's one of the things I've never gotten about freemium games. Really? My tavern has to stop earning money until you empty out has too much cash. I don't get it.
Well, all the big piles of gold coins are taking up all the room where the beer would be, and you have to move the gold coins so you can sell more beer. I mean, it totally makes sense, Jared.
The only logical explanation of this. It's okay. But it's definitely one that you have to play slowly, because otherwise you're going to be paying a lot. You have to upgrade every little thing. You'll have defense waves, and you have to spend money, or else you could to fund how big your defense is. of how many guys you'll send out back when you're being attacked. It's very freemium heavy. It's just beware. And if I were you, I would go play the first Royal Revolt and not bother with Royal Revolt 2. At least not its current incarnation. I could see how maybe they just haven't tweaked it quite enough, and eventually it will be a bit better.
Right.
But as of right now, it just feels so aggressive on the freemiumness, and it's a tough line to walk, right? Because you don't want it so subtle that no one ever pays for anything, but you also don't want it so egregious that people get annoyed and turned off by it. And this one I think falls on that side of it. Yeah. So the next game I've been playing is Disco Zoo. I'm not going to talk about it a ton because there's a review coming up. Spoiler. Then I've been playing Calculords. I don't know how to describe this game. Have you seen anything on it?
Yeah, it's it's a game where you have to make mathematical equations to clear pieces off the board, right? So you're given a bunch of numbers and then a big number. So if it was 12, and you had four, is it 3 or 4 numbers that you have on the bottom that you have to add, multiply, or whatever?
Yeah, so you're a little off here, but we still love you. So there's 6 numbers there
Is it 6 numbers? I thought it was
that you
less.
can use.
Okay.
Nope, there's 6 numbers, and you have a certain number of cards that are drawn. The cards will have an assigned value to them, and you then have to pick or figure out some way to use the numbers that are on the right using 3 mathematical symbols. There's no divide. You can multiply, add, or subtract, and you get to one of the numbers on the cards. Better units are always higher numbers or more difficult numbers. Like, like maybe you'll have an 81, which is a higher number, but it's easier to get to because if you get a 3s and 9s, you can turn it into 81. However, you might get like an 87, and that might be a really strong unit because it's difficult to get to. You'd have to multiply up to 90 and then subtract 3 or do something like that. If you end it exactly and you use all 6 numbers to summon however many cards, whether that be, sometimes I use all 6 numbers to summon 1 card. Sometimes I use it to summon 3 or 4 cards if I'm really lucky. Then I get a new set of 6 numbers there that I can continue to work on to summon more of my cards, which is great. So you want to try and use as few numbers to create it, but and a quick pro tip here.
I thought it was I thought it was the other way. I thought you got more points for using all of the cards or all of the numbers in a summon, but I guess that's wrong.
It's both. It's both.
Oh, okay.
Because if you use all of the cards, then that means you get a new set of numbers to work with.
Right.
So you want to use them all, but if you want to get the most cards out, you want to be judicious. So the best way to do it is if you can get like 2 cards out on your first set, and then you get a whole new set of 6 numbers to try and get 1 or 2 more out. That's kind of the best way to do it. So the first time you definitely want to figure out how to use all your cards, but also you want to figure out how to not use cards. It's kind of weird. It's tough to explain. And then you have 3 lanes, and you have pusher guys, you have attacker guys, you have lots of cards that have special abilities. You unlock cards as you go. It's so weird, but I like it a lot.
That's funny because I had it described to me the other day, and they described it a little bit different. So it makes me wonder if that person even played the game. But yeah, it looks retro. It looks like an old, like, I don't know, an old Amiga game or something like a Commodore 64.
Yeah,
it's just like that kind of art style. Obviously there's more colors, so it wouldn't have been, but it's that kind of art style. But it's weird. And it's freemium on top of it all. So it's just like, this is a weird game. I don't understand it, that this is a thing, but apparently it is, and apparently a lot of people like it. So yeah,
so like, it's not something I expected to like. but man, it's actually like I'm finding it really engrossing. Like, um, yeah, so it might be worth checking out. Uh, I am a little nerdy, but like I told you, I just went out of my way to get married on 369. But um, yeah, it's good. It's there's something that's super addictive about it. And in terms of the games I'm talking about, it's probably my favorite of the bunch that I've been playing lately.
Nice.
Well, with the exception of the next one, which is Bug Heroes 2, which I reviewed last time. I loved it. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I still think you should get this game. It went up to 99 cents.
Whoa, that's a huge increase from free to 99 cents. How could they do that?
I know they're so money grubbing, but no, this is like a fantastic game. And what's amazing is they're really responding to player feedback. And so they just patched it, I think yesterday. It may have been Tuesday, but they patched it within the last couple days, and they tweaked just a few little things here and there that just made it even better. For example, they made it a little easier to get new heroes. Second, they there was one kind of issue that you would get stuck, and there would be like four really hard levels that you couldn't get past. Like maybe you'd have like all 4-star and 5-star levels, and it would just be frustrating because the only way you could get past them is to go play them and die. And if you died twice, then it would lower the difficulty rating one.
Right.
And so if it's like on 4, I can really only beat 2-star levels. That's kind of where my guys were, and I would have to go lose 4 times before it would be beatable for me. Well, they fixed that, so now when it's populating levels in, it's bringing levels that are more closer to your level. It doesn't ever get all blocked out with really high ones. At least it hasn't for me, since I've been playing since the fix, which is probably 4 or 5 matches. There's always been one available to pick that is possible to beat,
Right.
which is just great. So all these little things that they're doing are just so great. I still think. Did you end up playing this game after you picked it up?
No, I have not.
Okay. Well, it's even better, and they
Cool.
keep talking about other ideas they're having for it and other things they're planning on doing, and I am super stoked. This is uh, an early candidate for one of those games that I'm just going to keep around forever because it's just so runs so well, and it fits really well on the platform. I love just playing it, and usually a match lasts maybe 5 to 10 minutes, which is kind of a sweet spot for playing on the iOS, at least for me. And
Hmm.
yeah, great game. If you still didn't pick it up, well, I don't think anything I could say now will help you, but I would just say it's really good. Um,
Nice.
I'm still loving it, and after reviewing it, so great game. What have you been playing, Lloyd?
I've been playing a fair bit. Been playing a lot of older games. Don't need to get into that. But some of the newer things that I've been jumping into, Disco Zoo. Been playing a hell of a lot of that, and I'll be reviewing it in this episode. Although it's kind of a game that doesn't really need reviewing, other than go get it. But I'm going to talk a little bit about it later in the episode. I picked up a couple games from yesterday's batch of releases. Been playing something called Minds of Mars from Crescent Moon Games, and it's essentially it's like Minecraft meets a Metroidvania kind of game. So you are mining blocks on Mars, and so you basically mine blocks and gather resources, use those resources to make other things, which is kind of neat. But there's also another level to it where you're mining stuff to get items to make new equipment to then explore other areas. So that's where you get kind of the Metroidvania aspects from, where you need certain equipment to get past certain creatures. There's enemies in the game that you have to shoot. There's kind of a mystery to solve. It's this weird little combination of things, but I think it really works. And the best part about it is it's $5 and it's not a freemium game. And I'm starting to not like premium games anymore. I don't want to play freemium games anymore, except for like the odd one, kind of like Disco Zoo. I just don't like being nagged every 5 minutes to, hey, I know you want to play now, but you can't because you have to wait 23 minutes to play. I'm starting to really, really hate that. So this was a nice palate cleanser for me to get rid of some of the garbage that I've been playing. Other than that, I also picked up Block Fortress War, which is a sequel to Block Fortress. It's better in every aspect from what I've seen.
It's by the same guys.
Yep. And basically, what you're doing is creating. It's like an RTS. They say it's a combination of a MOBA and an RTS kind of game. So you are it's kind of MOBA like because you're one big guy and you have all the special powers and you're trying to blow up the other base. But in this game, you can pause time and build things out of blocks, just like you're in Minecraft. So you take over these little points in the in the worlds, and then you get a certain area around those points that you can build other blocks, and then you can put other weapons up. So you can build walls, you can put machine guns and flamethrowers and electrical things and cannons and all this other fun stuff. And then you get powers for your characters. Your base spawns infantry guys, which you can equip with different weapons and armor and stuff, and you have special powers and things like that. It's pretty deep. I'm enjoying the heck out of it so far. So it's I don't know if you like real-time strategy or MOBAs. This might be something you might want to check out on iOS. It's like $2 for a universal app. It's pretty good, and yeah, it's available now. Just came out on.
Do they have a few in-app purchases in that one, right?
Yeah, you can. All the stuff is unlocked with rare minerals, and you get rare minerals for beating levels. But if you want to cheat and unlock all the weapons early, you can buy more rare minerals to kind of speed that along. But they will all unlock naturally as you progress through the game. Just by beating levels, you unlock the minerals to get the weapons that you need for the next levels. So
that's kind of like the monetization in Bug Heroes.
Yeah, and I don't mind that.
I did end up dropping a couple bucks on it just because I wanted to unlock a couple cool heroes that I thought looked awesome. So
yeah, and see, I have no problem with that. If you use like in-app purchases to kind of get people to speed up the game if it's going too slow for them, I don't mind that as much as I mind free games where they prevent you from playing the game because heaven forbid you have too much fun with their game. You have to not like this experience and hate it so much that you spend money to not hate it as much. I don't like that. I much prefer this way of doing things. So, but yeah, that's Block Fortress War. I'm digging it so far. I didn't really like the first one too much, but I saw that they changed enough in this one to make it something that I would really want to play. Since it's like one base versus one base, not like things spawning all around and things like that. It's pretty cool. So check it out. It's like $2 on the App Store, so it's pretty affordable as well. And I've also been playing a game that you're going to be reviewing called Another Case Solved, which I won't get too far into because I don't want people to hate the game before they get into your review.
But after they get into my review, they can hate it just fine, right?
They can hate it just fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Just making sure there. Wanted to clarify that point.
Yep. All right, well, let's get into the meat of the show. Let's get into our news. First off, this week, this is huge, and I'm super happy this exists. This week, Twitch has came up with some news that they've published a SDK for mobile games. So as a game developer, you'll be able to tie in the Twitch. If you're not familiar with Twitch, it's an online video service for people streaming gameplay. All of the podcasts we record here at VG Podcasts, I stream on Twitch. I have my PS4 connected to my Twitch, so when I'm playing games on PS4, they're streamed that way. It's pretty big, and a lot of people are using it these days. So on Wednesday, there's a new SDK that is coming out soon. I don't believe it's out yet unless you're in the beta or whatever. But my light keeps flickering. That's kind of weird. I'm wondering what that is all about. And it keeps flickering again.
It's eerie. Maybe you're like in a horror movie and you don't know it.
I'm like, is it going to start on fire? Like, what's happening here? So anyway, back to what I was saying. So as a game developer, you can embed this SDK in your game, and you can have basically one button streaming. So you can your players will be able to hit a button. It'll start up a live stream. It'll ask for their Twitch username and password, and then what it will do is it'll, if you want, take the audio from your microphone. It'll take your front-facing camera and put your face overlaid on the screen. If you've ever watched any of the PlayStation 4 stuff, that's how it is, where it has chat on the bottom and it has your image on the top, and then details about your channel and stuff like that. It can do similar things, but built right inside of your iOS apps, which is pretty darn cool. So I'm super looking forward to this coming out so that I can start live streaming some of the iOS stuff that I'm playing. And maybe even Jared can start doing that as well every once in a while when he's playing a game that's fun. That would be kind of cool. But some big news, and it just shows that not only that Twitch is a big, huge service now, but iOS is enough of a platform where something like this makes sense, where they want to come out with an SDK to get more game developers using it, which is kind of cool. So anything to add on that, Jared?
No, I'm just trying to decide if I would ever want to stream a game and watch iOS games. It seems like, I don't know, maybe I just never got Twitch because I'm not one that watches a lot of Let's Plays.
Mm-hmm.
Just occasionally, if I'm debating whether or not I want to buy a game, that's about the only time I will watch it. Otherwise, I would rather spend my time to actually play the game.
Sure, yeah. Whenever I stream stuff on my PS4, I'll get a handful of people watching me play. I don't fully understand it, but it's a thing that people want to do, and I mean, that's pretty cool. The good thing about this is when a new game comes out, we can record our first 30 minutes with it for whatever, or whatever, using a service such as that. And that would be kind of cool to have stuff like that on the website. And this will just make it super easy for content creators to do that type of thing, which is pretty darn cool. So we can look forward to games in the future coming with built-in Twitch support, which is pretty darn cool.
Yeah, I hope it's easy to put in, and you know, I'm always happy for things that will grow the hobby and, you know, allow people to consume the content how they want to. So I think it's good.
Right, exactly. Cool. All right. Well, moving on. Next up is Microsoft has posted a job, and that job was spotted by The Verge. And basically what this is rumored to be is that Microsoft is looking to again launch Xbox Live on iOS and Android. So they're basically the job posting says, we will create a modern framework that is open source, lightweight, extensible, and scalable across various platforms, including Windows Store, Windows Phone, iOS, and Android. So this is leading people to believe that Microsoft is looking to launch a Game Center competitor, essentially. So developers can embed Xbox Live right into their apps, so that when you play the game, you're getting Xbox Live achievement points or whatever. Microsoft has already talked about that in the future, or in the past rather, that in the future they would have an app that would allow you to have your avatar and all that other stuff on the screen, and it never really panned out that much. So I find this even more confusing as to why they would want to do that now. But it's kind of a neat little job posting. I don't know. Would you be more inclined to play a game because it has Xbox Live Gamer Score in it, Jared?
Me personally, no, but that's because I never bought an Xbox. I'm just curious because there's already similar functionality for PlayStation, right?
No, there's no.
You can view your trophies or something, right?
That's right. So you can look at your PlayStation stuff, but you can't actually get trophies by playing games that way.
Does anyone? I'm just curious how successful that's been. I mean, I don't see.
I use it all the time to see
Yeah.
to look to see if all my which friends are online, what they're playing, send messages back and forth. I use it all the time, but I have a PS4, so it makes sense for me to use it. Yeah, I don't understand why someone would want this, but I guess the more the merrier. Whatever brings people to the service is a good thing.
Yeah, it's interesting, and like you said, they kind of did something similar earlier and didn't really work out, and now they're coming back.
Yeah,
So
they had like big vision for what it was going to be, and it turned out just to be like kind of the second screen kind of thing, which I guess is it's not bad. It's just it's not Xbox Live on iOS. So hopefully this is that, and then we'll see how that turns out to be.
yeah, will be interesting to see how it evolves. If they're just posting a job posting, I would imagine it's kind of a ways off. So
Yep,
I'm not going to get my hopes up anytime soon.
exactly.
Though I don't have an Xbox, so I wouldn't have hopes up for it anyway.
Yep. Awesome. All right, let's move on. On Larry King Live a couple weeks ago, just after we recorded the last episode, of all places, Tony Hawk, the skateboarder, announced that he is working on a new Tony Hawk Pro Skater game, or a new game. He didn't say if it was going to be Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but it is going to be a iOS based skateboarding game, most likely, and launched it or announced it on Larry King Live, which is known in the industry as the best place to announce the impending release of a new game. Just so bizarre that would be the place where it came out.
Seriously.
But yeah, a new Tony Hawk game is coming out potentially. A new game from Tony Hawk, we'll say, because who knows if it's going to be a Tony Hawk game or something else. I would assume it's going to be a Tony Hawk game, because why would he be involved in anything else?
It'll probably have some skateboarding in it. That's about as much as we know.
Yeah, I thought this was actually going to be. Did you see that whole hoverboard prank that went around this week?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be kind of like an advertising for this new Tony Hawk game. I thought maybe it was going to be Tony Hawk with hoverboards or something. That turned out just to be a Funny or Die prank. And it got called out really quick, but because it was just terrible special effects. But that's not what it is. But it is going to be something. It's going to have Tony Hawk involved somehow. It'll probably be a skateboarding game, and you'll probably do tricks like a front side ollie, nose blast, 360
Something.
slide grab.
No, I think it's
thing.
great. Just because if you look, I mean, touch grind is kind of the gold standard for skateboarding games, and there's not really a whole lot else.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And I know that most of that stuff wasn't real tricks, so you don't have to send me an email. Jared looks really funny when he's stifling a sneeze on camera, by the way.
Ah, dang it, that one's going to be recorded forever too, huh?
Yeah, it is now. All right.
If you want to see Jared's funny face when he's sneezing,
You got to watch this live.
30 minutes and 12 seconds in the recording.
All right. Well, let's move on so you can get that sneeze in if you need to. We talked about the whole Candy Crush thing where King was trying to trademark the word candy. So any games in the App Store that had candy in the title were getting commented or contacted rather, and there were cease and desists and all this other crap that was going on. Turns out that because of all of the feedback and bad press that King got, they have reversed or abandoned their filing for the trademark of candy in the U.S. They're not going to pursue it anymore. So, yay, they don't own the trademark for a single word that's in a dictionary. Yay, that's awesome. Unfortunately, it's not a worldwide abandoning of the trademark because it's in the EU. It's still going through, and in other parts, they still are keeping up their trademark efforts. But in the US, they dropped it. I mean, that's a good thing. That's kind of a win, sort of. Although Candy Crush is still evil and is going to be the downfall of our modern society, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, interesting news. I really thought they would get more pushback on Saga, personally, over Candy. But yeah, interesting news. We'll see. I still have not ever played the game, and I don't really have any desire to.
My wife used to play it.
Does she feel dirty about that?
She can hear me right now, so she's probably giving me dirty looks, but I can't see her face. But yeah, she played a lot of Candy Crush, and I still think it's the devil.
She was a Candy Crusher?
She was a Candy Crusher, yes.
Okay.
Yep, she crushed lots of candy.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, it's good that the trademark isn't going to be there because... It's ridiculous that a company can own a trademark for a word that has been around for 30 years. 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 30 ye forever. And obviously they didn't invent it, so that's kind of weird. But they're backing off, which is a good thing. So good luck, or I guess everybody on the App Store that had a game with candy in it can now breathe a collective sigh of relief, which is good.
Though if you have Saga in it, nope, you're still in trouble.
Yeah, you're still in trouble. Which is bizarre. All right, let's move on. This story you put into the show notes. Why don't you talk about it?
Hey, you remember Flappy Bird?
I do remember Flappy Bird. I remember saying some nasty things about Flappy Bird like days before the developer had a nervous breakdown, and I kind of felt guilty that I was one of the people piling on him.
Yeah, I think you should feel guilty, but yeah. So I know you probably didn't want to give Flappy Bird any more press. You didn't really want to talk about it, but I just thought this was funny that somebody did like a study and identified Flappy Bird clones on the App Store, specifically ones that have come out since Flappy Bird was pulled. And there have been an average of a new Flappy Bird clone every 24 minutes. So, yeah, 24 minutes for the past month, there's been a new Flappy Bird clone. That's what's going on. That's society. So don't worry if you didn't get it on Flappy Bird. There's lots of clones you can play, and I have no idea if they're any good because I still don't want to play it. So
yeah, I read an article today where for $100 you can make your own clone in about an hour. There's
that's awesome.
There's a website that sells a kit for Flappy Crocodile or whatever the heck it is, and you can just buy that for $100, replace all the sprites and sounds if you want, and make your own game and compile it and then submit it to the App Store. So we can make Flappy Touch of Gaming and have our flappy pod and have the VG Pod logo flapping through something, and it would take no time to do it because I just have to replace some graphics. It's
so funny because if you go look at the article, there's just tons and tons of screenshots of all these sort of different ones that are just it's a crack up because they really do look so similar.
Mm-hmm.
And just random little sprites that change, like different background, pipes that are now logs, and how about we turn the guy into what looks like a small Iron Man?
Yeah.
All right, good. Flappy Bird clone,
Yep.
Anyway, all right, that's all it needs. I just thought it was funny.
Okay, I figured out that if I bang my desk, that's what makes my light flicker. So my lamp is really freaking me out right now. I think it's going to just like start burst into fire in mid podcast. It's really, really bizarre. So how about we get into the reviews, and then I let you get into your review, Jared, so that I can work on fixing my power issue here before everything just shuts down because of fire.
Or before like some ghost attacks you.
Yes. See, I went to like the more practical thing, like the electronics actually starting on fire. You go into the supernatural and ghosts and stuff. So
I don't know. All I see is lights dimming, and it's like every horror movie you've ever seen. So
yeah, cold chills. And,
are you
and
cold?
Mist and mist.
Can you open the door? Are you hearing strange thumping sounds?
No, but your video just paused in a weird way, so that's kind of spooky.
Hopefully, I have a great face on.
Well, it's a face.
Oh yeah, it looks like it paused on my side too. I'll restart that.
Yeah. Bizarre.
It should be fixed.
There you go. There you go. Okay, well, let's get into your review, and I'll take care of stuff on my side.
Okay, so both of our reviews have kind of interesting bits because we have both been playing the same game as the other person. I was just checking on my Another Case Solved, which is the game I'm going to review. So Another Case Solved, I got pretty excited for because I wasn't real public that it was coming out. I think they had announced a couple of things, but then all of a sudden 1 week it was out. And it is the follow-up by the team that put together, I can't remember the name of the game. Puzzlecraft. There we go. And Puzzlecraft was a really cool like city builder type thing, match 3, and this one has match 3 but you're using it to solve crimes that happen. And some of the crimes are kind of like cheesy, funny, but the way that it works out is you have a whole bunch of minor cases and major cases. So minor cases, when you go on them, they come in the form of newspapers that apparently have mysteries in them to solve, and you go click on the mystery, and then you uh, play it and collect resources to try and one, earn money, and two, if you complete all of the requirements for it, then you get that newspaper, which ups your fame, and as your fame goes up, it allows you to then turn those newspapers in and unlock the next story case. And the story cases are much more involved, so they have the same first stage where um, you're matching a whole bunch of things, and the way that you match it, it's in the style of I can't even think what games did it, but like I think that 10 million game did. But basically, you start somewhere on the screen and just match the same symbol. And you have a relatively small board. And it's a little bit crowded because at the first one, there's 5 different tools that you're matching. Like, for example, there's footsteps and there's magnifying glasses. There's little like question marks. There's lock picks and there's something else that I'm not thinking of, and you try and match them as many in a row. And if you get 5, then you get like the special of that one. So, for example, if you get 5 little like footprints, then you get a map, and a map pops on your screen. And so this is very similar to what Puzzlecraft did, because in Puzzlecraft, if you got a certain number of like dirt in a row, then gas would show up in the mine. So you get like a map, and sometimes what'll happen is across the top of the screen, it'll have what types of clues you need in order to advance in the current case you're in. And if you satisfy all of those, then you get to go ahead and move on to the next stage. The next stage, it varies depending on the case. So some cases it's like um, you'll have to go do a search, and the way that you do a search is it will have the floor plan of a house, and you have to search the house in a certain amount of time. And there's lots of different power ups you can use that will. Some of them you'll just get. Most of them you'll have to buy with the in-game currency bucks. But they'll do stuff like make it so that you collect all the footprints on the screen. So those are really good if you can't get like a good chain going, but you just need them all off to get a better chain on other things. Anyway, so then as you're finishing this room, you'll have a little meter, and as that meter gets higher up, it means that you're getting closer to whatever object you're looking for. So you move around the house until it's a pretty high, and then once it's pretty high, then you go searching through, say, the closet in the room in order to get it all the way up, your meter all the way up. And you have to make sure that you explore the entire house and use kind of a warmer and colder game in order to find it. An additional way that you may end up, additional one of these games that'll come after is maybe one where you're moving around, but you're moving around the city, and you're trying to find like the apartment of some artist or something that has something to do with the case. And the way that that one works is you will have clues, and you'll spend the maps or the feet that you used in order to determine what those clues mean in terms of the map. Like you may get one that says it's exactly 3 away from the shipyard. Well, then you might have to go find the shipyard, and it will tell you where to look. So these are almost like mini games are going alongside it, and then there'd be one. I think I told you about it last time. It's like playing Guess Who, because it's like, is the person tall, and if they say no, then you can knock everyone who's tall and just go with the short people, and then you can be like, is their hair curly, and if they say yes, then you put down everyone who doesn't have curly hair. So it's really, there's like these little mini games that you then work through to solve the puzzle. There's this whole overstory going about how candy is outlawed, and that's the premium currency in the game is candy. You do get a little bit of candy as you go through the game, because every 12 hours you have a reset, and it will allow you to look behind all the objects in your room and and have like a maybe a 20% chance of finding a piece of candy. This means that as you get more objects in your room, you're able to get more candy because you have more places to check. And I don't really get how that works. Like, hey, candy's outlawed, but I just dropped it behind my desk. And I checked there 12 hours ago, but hey, look, there's more now. I don't get that part. It just doesn't make sense. I understand it's one of the mechanics of the game, but it kind of brings me into the point that it's very aggressive in its payment system. So the way that it works is like I was telling you, you have to have so many newspapers. Well, the newspapers only come every so many hours, and you can pay in order to get more newspapers in your pile, but it raises it from 3 newspapers at a time to 5 newspapers at a time. I don't know how much time there is in between newspapers. I was just trying to check that while Lyda was talking, and I couldn't figure it out. But you have to wait time in between when the newspapers pile up. And then as you go further in the game, the further you go, the more newspapers it costs to do the next level. So at first it goes really quick. You know, you're doing like 1 or 2 newspapers, and that's not a big deal because if you don't pay anything, then you have 3 in your pile. So that's not a really big deal. But then later it gets up to like 5. And so then not only do you have to log on and do newspapers, which are difficult, you may have to grab all 3 newspapers, leave the game off for a while, and come back to it and do more newspapers before you can progress with the story. So this is a little bit of what we were talking about with how it's like severely monetized to play the game and to move on. Did you have any thoughts you wanted to talk about there, Lloyd? Or did you
No,
just...
no, that's pretty much. I loved the game when I first started playing it. It was like, okay, this is exactly what I wanted. This is Puzzle Quest. I loved, or Puzzle Craft. I loved Puzzle Craft. It was so good. This is the same thing. It's going to be great. Yeah, it's not. It's the whole having to wait for to be able to play the game or spend money on it. There's a whole bunch of items that will help you make matches better or help you clear the board or whatever. Well, you get a certain number of them for free, and then other ones you have to buy, and they take a lot of dollars, and you have to either like buy more if you don't have enough or wait and grind. Yeah, it just, to me, like, not even that far into the game, it just became a bit of a chore to play, and I just can't get behind games like that anymore. I think I've hit my freemium tipping point.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard because I feel like Puzzlecraft almost went too far the other way, right? They basically gave you the entire game for free, and I'm not sure I ever paid anything, even though I love that game and, you know, played through most of the content. I'm not sure I paid anything, so it's almost like they went too far the other way to the point where, you know, now you can't really enjoy the game without paying a significant amount of cash. I am a little bit happier that they have a couple of unlocks in there that, like I was telling you, the pile of newspapers gets bigger, but still you have to go through a lot of those minor cases, and it gets a little bit boring of going through those minor cases just over and over. And what's even worse is when you get through a minor case, if you didn't quite finish it, then there's a like, do you want 5 more moves? It'll cost you candy. And it's like, so you make this intentionally extremely difficult to accomplish all the requirements so that I will buy candy for it. And yeah, it's a game. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It's not a bad game. It's just a little aggressive in the monetization. So I'm hopeful that after some time and after they get some feedback, we'll see some sort of update that maybe softens it a bit or maybe improves it a bit. But I'm not going to get my hopes up. And the reason I say that is because when they brought out Puzzlecraft, they said, hey, look, there's an expansion coming, you know, and the expansion came, it took them like 6 months.
Yeah.
Before they actually updated the game with this additional content. And by then I had totally moved past the game and I never went back and played it.
And even worse, there was a game deleting bug that they never fixed.
Oh yeah, you had that happen to you like twice, right?
Like 3 or 4 times. Like it happened a lot. And yeah, I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic that it's gonna work out. They're gonna fix it. But I mean, that's the way that things have been lately. It's freemium and freemium and freemium and here, buy this thing to remove this timer, and it's horrible. And like I said, I'd rather this game was 99 cents or $1.99 or even $4.99, but take away like timers and grinding for the sake of grinding. That's not fun. There's nothing fun about that. Like taking the fun out of the game doesn't make me want to spend more money. I guess some people do, and I mean that's where games like Candy Crush are making all their money, is because people want to keep playing, so they buy buy this token so that you can play this next thing. Here are these tickets so you can go on your cruise to get to this other island to do the more things or whatever. It's working, so people are making a lot of money on it. I just don't ever want to play a game that's like that, so it's a personal choice.
Yeah, I think there was some study that came out just recently that said that like 90% of the money is made off of like 0.15% of the players of the game
Yeah.
in the standard freemium game, and that was just astounding to me. That in some ways it's appealing to people who are addicted or who have an addictive personality. I don't know what the right thing to say there. Who are easily addicted to things. And it almost applies to people who are into like gambling and stuff. So
yeah, totally. And that's the thing that's so evil. Like as a game developer, you want to make something that's fun, and then you join a faceless corporation, and then it's all about the money. It's like you have to make as much money as possible, or you're going to lose your job. So some of the joy of gaming gets perverted a little bit there when you work at a place like that.
I think after this we'll have to have like a 2-month hiatus on talking about freemium games. I feel like we talk about freemium like every other time, but it's just because it's such a big deal right now in iOS gaming.
It's the thing. It definitely is the thing. That's why I was so happy when 2 games that I wanted to play came out, and they weren't freemium, and they weren't a game that cost $2, which should have been freemium. Like there's a lot of games that are, they're not free to play, but they have the same like freemium gameplay mechanics in it. I'm happy that these games don't have that. They just have things that allow you to cheat to get ahead if you choose to pay to do that. You don't have to, but that will make your game go faster. I can get behind that. But the whole punishing you with waiting to play a game is it's ridiculous to me. Ridiculous. Anyway, that's enough of that. That's enough of my getting up on a soapbox. Let me step down and talk to you about the game I'm going to review this week. And I'm going to be reviewing a game called Disco Zoo, which is awesome. Really, really awesome. It's a game that I've been playing a lot over the last little while. I want to just get all these menu things to go away. Okay, there it is. Cool.
Are you waking up all your animals?
No, I'm just trying to get all these pop-ups from going away. So Disco Zoo is made by Milkbag Games, Owen Goss and Matt Ricks. That's, you might remember some of those names. They've made a lot of iOS games before, like Nimblebit. It's being published by Nimblebit, so you've heard of Nimblebit, Tiny Tower, and all that stuff. They make a lot of iOS games. So when I heard that this game came out, I didn't hear about it prior to it actually being released. It just showed up, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to check this out. So think of Disco Zoo like Tiny Tower meets like Zoo Tycoon. It's not as full featured as a Zoo Tycoon. You're not building individual attractions and getting people to come and saying, well, if I make the food in this place better, I'm going to attract this percentage more people and make more money. It's kind of like the Tiny Tower mechanic, where you have to have a certain number of people coming to your floor. In this case, they're pens per minute. To make coins. So this game has a counter, or I guess a main stat called coins per minute, so CPM. So right now I'm pretty far along. I've unlocked all but the last pen types. So there's like a bunch of different areas that you can catch different animals in: farm, outback, savanna, northern, polar, jungle, and the last one is Jurassic, which I haven't unlocked yet. But I've unlocked enough, and I have 426.7 coins per minute are unlocked.
Oh,
Is that's more than you, Jared?
I have 374.
I'm 50 better than you.
Yes, you're at least 50 better than me.
And basically the game revolves around you spending coins to go on to basically go on a safari to find animals. So when you first start the game, all you have is the farm. So for the farm, you take an air balloon and you go try to catch animals, and you do that by playing. It's basically like it's like I don't know. It's like a hidden match game where, if you remember back in the day, when you have to uncover tiles, and if you uncover the tiles and they match, you get that to keep those tiles and you go on. Except this one has different patterns for the different animals. So this is the first one. So a cow is pretty easy. It's 3 across. And a sheep is almost as easy. It's 4 across. So you have to look on the board, which is a 5x5 grid, and you have to find, like the first one I did, I found the cow. So I can figure out that, oh, I found 2 parts of the cow, and I go over and, oh look, I found the cow, so I can add it to my farm. And that's just kind of how it goes. Each time that you look in a particular area, it costs more. So when you first start looking in the farm area, it costs 100, then 110, then 130, all the way up to a maximum. Each of the different sections has a maximum. I've only hit 2 maximums. I've hit the farm. The maximum for the farm is 2,000 coins, and the maximum for, let me find it, for the northern region is 7,000 coins. So you, like, for the northern region, I can basically hit or pay 7,000 coins, and I can go find skunks and beavers and all sorts of different things. It's a lot of fun.
I didn't know there was a maximum.
Yeah, there's a maximum, which is
my farms currently cost 1,700, and my northern costs 6,740.
So you're pretty close to the maximum for your northern.
For my northern, yeah, I didn't know that. It's good to know. Thanks for teaching me something.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for you, Jared.
I thought so. I was wondering what you're here for.
Each of the individual areas rather has a bunch of different animal types. I'm just going to get out of this one. So, for example, the farm area. Okay, let's get out of there. Yes. Back to the zoo. So if I go to the farm area, there's 6 types of animals in each of the sections. So the farm has sheep and pig and rabbit and horse and cow and unicorn. For each of them, you're going to have a certain number that are common. Then you're going to have more.
3 are common.
Yeah, 3 are common. 2 are rare.
2 rares,
and one is a mythical. So yeah, for the farm animals, the mythical one is a unicorn, and the different animal types, their patterns are usually a little bit harder, especially as you go up. So like in the jungle, the mythical pattern is really tough to find. It's kind of like a diagonal but missing pieces. So you have to basically figure out where your first piece is, and then look on the board and figure out where the second piece would be. So the type, the ranking of the animal changes that, and it also changes the frequency that it's going to show up. So I can't always find a unicorn on each of the boards. Each time that you play each of the boards, there's a random assortment of animals that will be there. And that's pretty much the game. Once you rescue 25 animals, you've filled your pen. So 25 of each animal, rather. So if you have 25 sheep, your sheep pen is full. And then each sheep that you collect, in addition to the 25, you free. So you free them. You get paid money for doing that. So it's not just a waste of time. And you build statues. So when you first get 25 of an animal, it builds a platform. And then once you free I think it's 10. I can't remember off the top of my head what you have to
It's
do.
10.
It's 10. So you free 10 and then you get the bronze statue. You free 10 more, we'll say, you get the silver. 10 more, you get the bronze or the gold. And then 10 more and you get the diamond trophy. And then once you have the diamond trophy, that's pretty much it. You don't get anything more from freeing any of the animals. So yeah, that's it. So I don't think the statues really do anything other than when you collect a statue, it gives you a what they call a disco party. And disco parties basically make your animals not fall asleep, and they double their coin generation. You can at any time go to the disco party screen and start a disco party for the premium currency in the game.
Disco bucks.
Yeah, the disco bucks. But I don't know why anybody would, because the disco parties are really expensive and they don't really do much, but that is there for you as well. The one thing about this game that is different than, say, Tiny Tower or Tiny Death Star is the premium currency is like very hard to get. It sometimes shows up on each of the boards. So you'll have a disco bucks as one of the animals that you find, except obviously it's not an animal. It's a thing, and it's basically one square, so it's very hard to find without running out of moves. Or just randomly, your patrons, while they're looking at your animals, will drop coins, and then sometimes they'll drop disco bucks as well. I remember playing what was it, Tiny Planes? That was what it was called, right? Tiny Planes. There's Tiny Planes, Tiny Trains, and
No,
Tiny Tower.
no, it's yeah.
Was it
I
Tiny
don't
Plane?
remember.
It doesn't really matter. Anyway, one of those games where I was getting premium currency all the time, and I enjoyed playing it so much that I didn't even mind going and buying some top premium currency just to reward the developers. This one, it's so few and far between that I don't even want to buy it, because then I'm going to be wasting it then, because it's hard to get for free. So it's not like I'm just going to buy a couple to get me past something in the game. So I think the premium currency,
Pocket planes.
there you are, pocket planes, pocket trains, and Tiny Tower. So I just think the premium currency, the free premium currency, is just it's way too far the other way. It should be a little bit more readily available, which would then encourage me to buy more, because it wouldn't be so rare, which doesn't really make sense, but that's the way that I play these games, I guess. Yeah, I think that's it. Basically, each of the pens has levels. So as you get to the different levels, it increases your amount of time that your animals stay awake, and also the amount of coins per minute that it generates. So the game basically revolves around you keeping your animals awake by tapping on the pens when they tell you that they're sleeping, finding more animals to build up your coins per second to then unlock other areas. Each of the other areas, you have to get a certain number of animals, and then you have to pay X number of dollars to unlock it. The jungle was like 250,000 coins, which is the second last one. The last one is even more expensive. I won't spoil it because my wife's in the other room and she'll be mad if I tell her how much it costs, because she hasn't gotten there yet. But it's just a fun little time waster game. I haven't had this much fun with one of these games since Tiny Tower. I really, really loved Tiny Tower and spent a lot of time just wasting that while playing. This one, I like it just as much. It's not as crazy. There's not as much stuff to do. I know that if I keep going at the clip that I'm going, I'm going to basically collect all of the animals. As it is right now, I have 25 of most of the animals, except for the rare ones for all of the higher the higher places you can go. So I'm pretty much to the end of where I can get in this game, except for the last section that I have to unlock. So hopefully they're going to keep updating it with more content and other things to do. But as it is right now, I kind of dig it. Anything to add, Jared?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I feel like I'm getting a little bored with it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Everyone figures out their little strategies, and I think it's a fun little game to have, and I feel a little sadistic when I'm like poking animals every 5 minutes in order to wake them up. I feel
Yeah,
It's
the
like
good thing
animal abuse or
the
something.
good
But
things is the one that you have to poke all the time, or the ones that don't generate any money anyway. So it's not so bad to let that go.
yeah, and you said that no one would ever pay for. I have a kid. I think I've paid for one or two disco parties, but usually it's like I'm really busy and I don't really have time to wake everyone up, and so I'll go launch a quick disco party to wake them all up.
Right.
You know, like if I haven't touched it for 5 or 6 hours and I don't have time to go and touch them all to wake them up, I'll throw use one disco buck just to wake them all up so that I can you know get back to whatever I'm doing. So I do see the value there occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and it does get to the point where it gets there's a big curve. I mean, when I went and got the same one that was $250,000, I don't think actually went on any, safaris to catch animals for probably nearly a day in order to get enough money.
Yeah, I think that's what
But
I did as well.
yeah, I just had to keep going in and touching them all and waking them up and then get back out. It gets good though because you can, if you want, pay for a a animal encyclopedia. I'm gonna guess that's what we're going to call it right now.
Yeah.
And if you do that, then you can like touch the animals that are available in that, and it will remind you of the patterns.
Yeah.
It's not necessary,
It's
but
a
it's
little
nice.
expensive too. It's $2.99 to do that.
Yeah, but I could see where it would be valuable
Oh
so
yeah.
that you could just because I know that if I'm switching maps, I'll forget what shapes they are.
Yeah.
And so what I've tried to do is like whenever I unlock a new space, I'll go and try and get one or two of all of those, and then I'll focus on one area and try to max it out.
Sure.
And that helps me to remember the shapes that are available in that particular map. So
Yep.
I don't know, good game. I like it.
Yeah, I agree. So Disco Zoo, it's free. Definitely worth checking out and just playing around with to see if it's something that you would want to play. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I'm really, really enjoying this game. And like I said, it's one of those I jump into multiple times a day. Wake up my animals, do a couple safaris, and then don't touch it for a little bit longer. So it definitely is a lot of fun.
I agree.
Cool. All right, man. I think that's going to about do it for this episode of the ToG. Unless you have anything else to add before we go, Jared.
Nope, I got nothing.
Awesome. Okay, well, we love hearing from you guys. Head on over to vgpodcast.com and let us know what you think of the show. You can email us at vgpodcast@gmail.com or call our voicemail line, which is area code 505 VG Podcasts. We're doing a new show here on the network called D-Res. So we do it live every Friday night at 10 p.m. Central. You can check that out at vgpodcast.com. D-Res is our general gaming show. It used to be called the Bonus Stage. New co-host, new format, new everything. And we would love it if you guys would check it out and let us know what you think of it. So do that over at vgpodcast.com. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. I guess we'll talk to you guys in about 2 weeks' time or so. Take it easy. Enjoy all those iOS games. And don't let the freemium game model get you down. It's going to get better. We're going to revolt. There's going to be a revolution. And we'll make the gaming world a better place. Take it easy, everybody.
Bye.